Hi, Brian Murphy again from Invacare Top End video series on adaptive sports wheelchairs. I'm with my good friend Vincent Mimosier from the Cleveland Wheelchair Cavaliers basketball team. Thanks again for being with us.
Thank you.
So what we're going to do today, we talked about getting a new basketball chair for Vincent, and it's going to be the Paul Schulte 7000 Top End basketball chair. We have an example of one here. Vince is in his original Top End Pro Series basketball chair. We're just going to take a few measurements so that we can transfer his seating system now and the posture that he has in his seat. We want to transfer those measurements and dimensions to a new chair. So I'm going to have Vincent hold this order form. Vince, you're going to fill this out as we go.
Okay.
And we'll quickly walk through all the steps for measuring for a basketball chair.
Perfect.
All right. So a couple of these we already pre-decided. So what did we say for your seat width?
We went with 17 inches.
Okay, so it's a 17-inch seat width, but I think you talked about the fact that you wanted to have some taper in your frame as well. So let's mark this down as 17 inches for the seat width. And then what's your next choice as far as taper?
Well, we have the tapered, we have the 1 inch, 2 inch, 3 inch, and 4 inch. And I believe we had it set up to where I would want an inch on both sides. So it's going to be a 2 inch taper to bring in my just a little bit tighter in on the front end.
Perfect. And let's mark 2 inch taper for that chair. And it'll look similar to this because this is actually a 2 inch taper that we have on here as well.
Okay.
So at least you get an idea of what it looks like. All right, Vince, we're on to your back height measurement now. Why don't you spin the chair around just a little bit so we can get a good angle here.
Okay.
To measure your back height, I'm going to go from the top of your rear seat rail to the top of your current rear back cane. And when I do that, I get a measurement of 15 inches.
Okay.
So let's record that as 15 inches. You talked about the fact that you love that dual anti-tipper because of how aggressively you play.
Right.
And you want support side to side.
Right.
So it's either the dual or the single in the middle. We decided we're going to stay with the dual anti-tipper.
Stick with the dual.
Perfect. So let's get that marked off. So we got our
side guards.
Side guards. So we talked before, you really like this welded aluminum tube side guard.
Right. Over the one that was currently on the Pro Series.
Gotcha. Yeah, because you wanted more support. It's a lot more solid. So mark down on there.
The welded aluminum tube?
You got it.
All right.
So Vince, we were talking about the welded aluminum tubular side guard that you chose for the chair. I think the reason you wanted this again was for your balance side to side.
It keeps tucked into the chair.
Exactly. One thing I probably failed to mention to you before, and I apologize, is that if you do get that side guard, you can't also get the adjustable center of gravity.
Oh, okay.
So there is trade-offs. And anytime you're trying to customize things, if you want this, sometimes you have to sacrifice that. But I have a good idea for you. So let's go with this, the welded aluminum tubular side guard. I think that's going to be better for you in terms of balance and side-to-side mobility.
Correct.
But one thing that's nice in this chair that I also probably forgot to mention is it comes with adjustable tension back upholstery. So you can have this back upholstery pulled very, very rigid and very, very tight, which would make you sit up in the chair, but you can also loosen it to put some slack in it, which might allow you to sit a little bit further back in the chair.
Okay.
So I think if we choose these side guards and then choose not to go with the center of gravity adjustment, you can make up a little bit of that through the adjustable tension back upholstery, which is standard.
Perfect.
Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
Okay. Yeah, a lot of times, like I said, in custom wheelchairs, there are going to be some trade-offs, but I think in your case, you'd be better off with this option than with the center of gravity adjustment.
Sounds good.
All right. So to wrap up the conversation about the side guard, we had measured your center of gravity at 5 inches.
Correct.
I'm sorry, from 4 to 6.
Right.
Okay. But since it's going to be fixed now, why don't we go ahead and set it at 4?
Okay.
And then because we have the adjustable tension back upholstery, you'll have another inch and a half to play with in there as far as some leeway.
Sounds good.
All right, let's do it.
The wing style?
In. Yeah, the wings on here, most people go with this style wing. So if you look at your different choices, this is called a 4-bend, and it's almost like the top of a stop sign as it goes around. You do have the option, though, of a rounded, which is not quite as popular, and some people actually go with just the basic one that comes on the top end all-sport chair.
I'd like to keep the 4-bend.
Yeah,
wing.
why don't you go ahead and do that? And when you get to the end of this order form, you'll see pictures on our order form of what all the different guards look like. So if you decide to change your mind if something's more cosmetically appealing, you get some pictures on the order forms and on the website.
Perfect.
Okay.
We're going to go with the footrest.
Footrest, yeah. So right now you have a platform-style footrest. Your footrest is an aluminum pan, so to speak. Is this working out okay for you?
I would actually like to go to a different style.
Okay.
What other styles did you say that you had?
Well, this is the one that you and I talked about before that you liked on this model, which is the tubular style.
Right. And most of my teammates have that, and it's more of a sturdier for basketball.
Okay.
So,
So we'll get the tubular for you. Now this is adjustable in height.
Okay.
So choose tubular footrest.
okay.
Okay. And then we'll set that, and then you can obviously adjust it when it comes. We can set it later at the height that you want. Now front frame angle on here. If you look at this version right here, okay, this has a slight taper rearward, but your legs, the way you're positioned right now, if you turn sideways just a little bit, you're at probably a 90-degree angle with your legs.
Okay.
So I think it would probably be best if when we do this, we do the 90-degree angle version for you.
Perfect.
Okay? So we'll get that marked down as well. Now we're coming up to the fun part, colors, but we have a few more things to pick off here.
The rear wheel options, and this is actually very important with wheelchair basketball. Because of the sizes, there's 24-inch, there's 25, and then there's 26, which is what I currently have is a 26. And there's a difference between, say, going with a 24 or 25 is more for your guards who want that initial push and how quickly the speed they're going to get into it, as opposed to I would want more of a long-term pushing at the better speed, especially with how tall I am. I want to have them at 26 because I have to sit upright for as long. I can't really do that lean forward as much as with a 25. They would be able to lean forward and really get into it. Where my 26, I would rather have it a little bit bigger.
Yeah, and I think for you, what you're going to sacrifice, you might sacrifice a little bit of quickness, but you'll probably gain some top end speed with the 26s. Might take you a little longer to get there, but once you get there, you're going faster with the 26s.
And the Spinergies are also pretty wonderful.
Of course they are. Of course they are. So we're going to get you a 26-inch Spinergy wheel. And while we're looking at those, there's going to be some color choices that it asks for. You got lots of different colors for the spokes, for the Spinergy wheel. Make it your own, show your style, and don't forget how rigid and strong these are, which is one of the biggest benefits of these spokes.
Okay.
So you can take a look at those for just a second.
Definitely go with the gold or yellow.
That was easy. So why don't you give me those back and you mark it down. Perfect. Okay, now as far as a rear wheel option is concerned, there's several different options for your rear wheels. We talked about doing, if you look at this wheel right here versus yours, okay, this has 12 attachment points for this wheel.
For the hand rims.
For the hand rim, excuse me, where yours has 6 attachment points.
Okay.
The reason this has 12 attachment points is this makes it a lot more rigid and helps with propulsion.
Okay.
Now some people might say I sacrifice a little bit of weight, but by adding 6 additional tabs on here, I don't think it puts that much weight onto the chair. And if it makes the whole mechanism tighter and more rigid, that might help you in a basketball game.
I mean, in a basketball game, we're really bumping and slamming into each other, and that would reinforce, and instead of breaking or even cracking, that it would probably give a little bit more stability. So I would agree with going with the 12 would probably
Okay, so why don't you go ahead and mark that down as the option you want for your hand rim attachment. Now, what were we talking about before? You told me something about the positioning of the hand rim to the wheel.
The hand rims, you have a close mount or you have a standard mount. And on the hand rims, there's two holes basically to either get it further out or closer in.
And it actually probably brings the rim a little bit closer to you so you can grip it faster too, in addition to the safety.
Exactly.
Okay, so why don't we choose close mount on here for the hand rim mounting option.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Okay, now tire. We didn't talk too much about tires today. These have high performance, high pressure tires, a couple different sizes, a couple different colors. What kind of tire do you think would work best for your basketball chair?
Well, it's a 26, and the high performance is definitely the one to go with. I believe it's Primo's, which is listed on here, and I would definitely go with the gold one as well.
All right, you're a man of style, so let's get that marked down.
Okay.
So it's this one you want right here, the gold Primo tire?
Correct.
Gotcha. Okay. All right, I think we have one more page to go on here, so why don't we see what our last and final options are. We're going to have you a beautiful new basketball chair before you know it. So as far as the back upholstery, your choices are going to be the nylon black, nylon woodland camouflage, nylon digital, but I think we talked about that leather flap style one for the back upholstery. Correct. And if you ever remember, that had those leather caps on it, and it had the aluminum rounded housing on the inside.
Right.
So as you're rocking back and forth in that chair, the posts aren't going to cut through the material, and the back post is not going to hopefully cut into your back since it's rounded
That's
off
definitely
like that.
something that I would like to go
So you
with.
can mark that down. Good choice, by the way, good choice. So on this chair, the only thing left is obviously the color. There's a couple of different options as far as calf straps. There's some different seatbelt options as far as the click-it style seatbelt. I'll let you take some time to think about what makes the most sense for you as far as your game. Don't want to rush you through that. Okay. Most of what we did right here is measurements, okay? So they're factual figures that we can take from this chair, transfer it to that chair, but you might want to take this form home tonight and consider some of the other options that you might want to customize the product. Perfect. Okay, and speaking of customizing the product, I saved the best for last. That's your choices of colors, my friend. Okay, well, I already probably know which one to go with. I have a feeling. I'm believing that there is a blue somewhere in here. I think it was this one right here, which goes with, I believe it's midnight blue to go with the gold. I mean, once a Cavs fan, always a Cavs fan. What can I tell you? So Vince, I think we got it all worked out for you. Perfect. I'll let you think about some of those other options. You get the form back to me, and we'll get the chair ordered for you. Sounds good. Appreciate your time today. Thank you. Take care.